Lock in America! It's time for Straight Talk! This is the Wayne Dupree Podcast, hosted by Wayne Dupree, with co-host Jason Robertson, delivering powerful opinions, arty debates on politics, entertainment, and the hottest stories. No spin, just honest takes and real conversation! The Wayne Dupree Podcast is lit! Let's get into it right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. There it is. Welcome to the show. It is Monday, June 8th, 2026. You are watching the Dupree Report with Wayne Dupree and Jason Robinson. Is Mark in the chat? Might need to get him to change some stuff. Yeah, it's Dupree Report now. Thank you very much. It's been 12 years. I'm trying to force Facebook to change my page name. For those that are, for the few watching on, my friend is in vacation over in India, and I didn't know that they had went. So I sent them a message this morning and said, "Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah," and then they responded to me, "We're on vacation. We're in India." I was like, "Oh, really? Bring me some food back."
Yeah.
Man, I love me.
Wayne wants to live dangerously.
I love me some Indian food. Okay, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Short time to do it. Glad everybody can watch the show. Mr. Jason Robinson from Minnesota. What's up, Jason?
Hey, folks, happy Monday. Welcome to the Wayne Dupree Podcast. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. And, oh, yeah, so much fun stuff to cover today. We got stolen elections, allegedly. We got Israel being crazy. We got that trial in Texas. I can't wait to see what we get into today, Wayne.
Well, you know what? You just brought up something just a while ago. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching the show for the last while, we've been kind of, I mean, it's been that they need to just leave Iran. Shit. Excuse me.
Wow, Wayne dropped the shit bomb this early.
Well, you ain't have to come right behind me and see it. I mean, yeah, it's time to leave, man. It's time to leave. Netanyahu is not playing by your rules, Chief. He's not. That's just the bottom line. He's not playing by your rules. He's not going to play by your rules as long as he's in charge, as long as he is in control of Israel. But he is not going to play by the United States rules. And I tell you now, by Wednesday or Thursday, because Iran came out and. Again, we'll get into more of it, but you can say breaking news, but it's not. It probably just happened within the last hour and a half. Iran said, okay, fine. We're not going to do anything to Israel again as long as they don't hit Lebanon. They're going to hit Lebanon. They're going to hit Lebanon. And then Iran's going to hit them. There's no way out of this quagmire because they've been doing it for thousands of years. You know, I mean, that's just how it is, right? Tell me, Chief. I mean, there's no way to contain that. There is a way to contain getting out of there, but there's no way to contain the mess that's over there. Number one, because the United States has really never understood the real back and forth that goes on between the Middle East. They really haven't. They see oil. I'm talking about the United States. They see oil. They see opportunities, and then they print out money to try to, I'm talking about the United States, gain influence to get the oil. It's been like that for decades. Okay? It's not new. We have put bases in other countries because we're under the, you're like, hey, look, sooner or later, Iraq or Iran, they're going to attack y'all. So let us put these bases in here. And you give us some, quid pro quo on the oil and, kind of help us out a little bit and stuff. And also minerals and different things like that. That's been happening for decades. President after president after president after president. I knew that Israel was going to go after Iran. I knew it. Just as soon dude, thank you, Jason, for bringing it up.
Wade's all fired up.
Because it's ridiculous. It's that you know it and I know it, and hopefully some of our audience knows it. Is that this is going to continue even when we leave? It's going to continue. It's not going to break off. Okay, fine. It might stop for about a week or two. But as the word ceasefire doesn't mean ceasefire. It don't. And it looks like we're late to the game because we've never used ceasefire before like that. Either we destroy you or we tuck tail like in Vietnam. But you know what I'm saying? It's like we don't ceasefire or we just walk away. You like in
Wait, did you have a little bit of extra caffeine in your coffee?
You know what I'm talking about? We just walk away. We don't even say that the war's over. We don't say that the war was, whatever. That well, Wayne, what are you talking about? What the Korean War? There's never been a ending to that war, right? No. Am I right about that? It's never been declared over. We just walked away. But we don't do ceasefires. Israel does ceasefires. And Israel, no, they don't do ceasefires. That's the problem. They don't do ceasefires. Jason. Gosh, man. We need to get out of there, man. I'm telling you, we need to get out of there because nothing good comes from it. And nothing good is going to come from this, man. It's not.
I will get the quote wrong. I wish I would have had the video queued up. But Donald Trump gave like the greatest answer ever when asked about this at the end of last week. And they said, what about ceasefire or end of hostilities? And he said something to the effect of, well, for those guys, the ceasefire is just when they're killing each other less. And
there you go.
We should find the clip. It was pretty. People were like, some people were appalled. I can't believe he said that, and some people were like, "Yeah, makes sense." And I think that is probably the best take I've seen yet on the Middle East. Like, as long as Israel exists in the Middle East, the Jews and the Muslims are going to be killing each other, and the only choice we have at any point in time is how much we want to be involved and how much do we want to, influence things over there. And just like the wars you talked about, like Vietnam or Korea, those are just wars we weren't committed to winning. They like, if we wanted to, we could have taken out, both those countries won the war. We just didn't want to. We were playing these half measures. When we decide we want to win a war, we just go win a war. Yeah. And Trump didn't want a war. He wanted to go in. He wanted to take out Iran's leadership and disrupt their ability to have nuclear weapons.
And save the Iranian people. Remember that?
Yeah. And he got involved. He's accomplished what he wants to accomplish other than the other than the uranium. Like, they still need to get that in place. But even when we get a deal with Iran for their uranium, like 5 years from now, that deal's not going to be worth the paper it's printed on. So
Nope.
I think this weekend it was interesting when Trump's like, Israel, Lebanon was attacking, and Trump's like Israel, you need to sit this out. And then Netanyahu just told him to F off, and
Basically,
he attacked. So I think that was a bad move for Israel. I think that you don't go against the boss. You know what I mean? Whatever you think about Trump, his approach, how that you just don't. If Donald Trump says, I want this done, and you do the exact opposite of what he wanted, I suspect over the next however long, we'll see things changing pretty quickly. So,
but see, that's the little issue too. Is I guess it was yesterday. President Trump said he's the one that's calling shots. He's the one that's in charge. And how we say Netanyahu. Well, it's not Netanyahu. It's not him by himself. It's not.
Right. There's a machine behind him.
There's Israel a machine behind him, and they are for it too. They are for it too. And they basically are. I'm not going to say that they're holding Netanyahu as hostage, because Netanyahu loves us. He's been loving it for the last 40 years. But these people, I guess they smell blood in the water, so they want to keep it going. But that is close to Netanyahu. They want to keep it going. Now, yes, there are some leaders over there that, because again, you might not see this on other podcasts, but Israel's getting bombed too.
Yeah.
Israel is getting bombed too. And don't you find it strange, weird that you feel like you are safe in a way? You feel like you're safe because you got your dome. You mostly everybody that lives in the city is in the military. Everybody got guns. You got you know how to defend yourself. You got one of the best defenses, and you got one of the best air forces around. You're sort of comforted, with all this stuff. But don't you think it's weird that you sort of feel violated a little bit, that these attacks have gotten through and doing damage? It's like, wait a minute, I thought we were sort of protected, even though that's kind of naive to say it like that. But I'm sure some people felt like that.
I was going to say, I think there's a certain truth to that. And America has a very skewed perspective of safety, because even though we're less safe now than we were 50 years ago or 60 years ago on the streets of America, for the most part, throughout our history, people don't invade us. People don't really attack us. I mean, it's happened, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, things like that. But in many parts of the world, the Middle East being one of them, there's virtually no day that goes by that one of those countries isn't attacking the other, especially when it comes down to the Jews and the Muslims. And those guys don't like each other, and they have been fighting over land in that area for thousands of years at this point. And 20 years from now, and we're doing the Wayne Dupree podcast, we're going to be talking about conflict in the Middle East over this and that. And the question is just, what do we want? Like, what do we want our involvement as a country to be in there? And, I still maintain, like, not our circus, not our monkey. It's time for us to say, all right, Israel, if you want to keep this going, like, good luck. We will wish you the best, and, hope it works out, because Trump wants them not to have a nuclear weapon. Like, that's pretty much the main reason why this happened. There's some other ancillary stuff that's come out, but at the end of the day, he wanted to destroy the regime. and get them not to have a nuke. And I don't know how much more we will advance either of those missions unless we just want to go, boots on the ground or ratchet things up. But Israel doesn't want to quit fighting. Israel's like, no, and I mean, fighting 5 years from now or 10 years from now or 20 years from now. It's just how much we want to pay for that. So, but I think what's happening is that the American people are saying, there's a point where we don't want to keep paying for this. If this is continuing to happen, like we're out, we're done. So
when have you ever known Israel not to be fighting?
Oh, my whole life they have been.
Thank you very much.
Since we established, since we established Israel after World War II,
either they've started it or they are defending themselves, but they always fight. That's why damn near everybody in the city, in that country, is in the military.
Yes,
they teach them from cradle to. They teach them from cradle to grave, I guess. But I mean, it's like that's who they are. They go through practice runs and stuff, the sirens and all that stuff. I downloaded their app. I mean, that app goes off all the damn time. It's like I was getting my hair cut. I just happened to have the siren thing on. It's like, oh my gosh, it's on all the time. So, okay, thank you, Jason, again.
I got Wayne all fired up. That's a good Monday when Wayne's got his little vein in his forehead popping out.
Right there, I do it right there. Look, real quick, you want to know what 100 days of war does to your money? Look at the pump. Look at your grocery bill. The dollar gets squeezed every time a choke point halfway around the world shuts down, and you're the only one who pays for it. The only reason why we trust Augusta Precious Metals, gold and silver don't care about the Straits of Hormuz. They don't blink when Washington fumbles a ceasefire. They've held value through every war, every panic, every administration, and they're not asking your permission. As a matter of fact, last week, gold surpassed.
The financial markets are weird, man.
Yeah.
It's like check it and 20 minutes later. I mean, Bitcoin record low, Bitcoin huge surge, precious metals dip, precious metals went up. It's we're in strange times. And I mean, with the war in the Middle East, and you have all the the disruption of oil, that disrupts economies. So the whole world runs on oil.
Yeah. But let Elon Musk come in there and going to the moon. But Augusta Precious Metals walks you through the whole process. No pressure, no hard sale. They sit down, they explain to you how the parts move to save your saving, to protect your savings or your IRA, and how they show you how they're going to convert it into physical metal. And they also treat you like an adult. They don't treat you like children, or they don't talk over your heads. If you go on the Better Business Bureau and look them up, Augusta Precious Metals, they have thousands of 5-star ratings, and they have A+ rating, but they have thousands of 5-star ratings for the work that they do. So you can go to waynesgold.com. That's waynesgold.com, or you can text Wayne to 35052. Protect what you have built. Okay. As of yesterday, Jason, 100 days of the war with Iran, featuring Israel, or featuring the United States. The war began on February 28th, and despite April 8th ceasefire, the Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed, with a sporadic fire continuing and talks repeatedly collapsing. According to more coverage, U.S. Central Command said American forces shot down 2 more Iranian one-way attack drones over the strait on Saturday, a day after downing 4 others. That no U.S. personnel were killed, and I'm sure that y'all saw what happened last week with I guess Kuwait. No, southern Iran was attacked as a defensive measure by the United States. I guess Iran felt that the United States was using Kuwait and another area, so they attacked those 2 areas before the weekend. According to Iran's foreign ministry, Tehran called the June 5th U.S. Strikes near Surik and on Kishim Island a clear violation of the ceasefire. There's no such thing as ceasefire. I don't even, whatever. But for the casualties that is out there, there is a tally kept by Al Jazeera. Preliminary figures are showing that at least 3,468 have been killed in Iran. That's including those children and at school. 3,593 in Lebanon, meaning more people have now reportedly died in Lebanon than in Iran. And U.S. Israeli estimates put Iran now. U.S. and Israeli estimates put Iran's losses at about 6,000 though, or higher. But according to the Hill, within the last 48 hours, economic tracker put the war approval at real low negatives. At real low negatives. I guess many people didn't think that the war would have lasted 100 days, especially after what happened in Venezuela. But if you've been watching us for a while, we kept telling y'all Iran is not Venezuela. Iran, Persia. Some people push back. Some people push back on social media. They say, it's not Persia, it's Iran. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna get into. I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, 100 days of this, and my thing is, and I even posted it on my account. I don't think it's. I mean, most of you out there right now trust President Trump with everything at all. Period. So if President Trump was to turn around and say, "We're coming home," actually, he's already basically said it won many times over. Destroyed the military, destroyed the Air Force, destroyed the Navy. Come home. You can. A way that could do it is come home and do the diplomatic thing with Marco Rubio. Just send Marco Rubio over there to work out the rest. You don't need. I think we're still there because of Israel. Okay. I don't think it's because of us. Seriously, because we've been to the almost agreement 3 times. And I think the last time Netanyahu, did you know Netanyahu said he talks to President Trump about every 48 hours? Did you know that? Every 48 hours he talks to President Trump. That's ridiculous. Well, no. I can't say that, because if it is a joint operation, they got to talk. So no, I can't say that that's ridiculous. So forgive me there, but I would think that if he, in the next 5-10 minutes, and hopefully somebody from the White House is watching, I will hope that within the next 5 or 10 minutes that he decides that he wants to go home. I think the MAGA base would say, "Yep, we support it. Come on home. Let's go." Okay. And I think, again, if y'all are watching, I think that whatever negatives that you might have would start to lower into some approvals, because there are some Republicans that are starting to waver right now. Well, actually, they've been wavering for a while, but I'm talking about the war stuff. I'm talking about this war thing. They're starting to waver because the midterms are a couple of months away. And if you're looking at some of the tea leaves, or if you're looking at some of their quotes, or you're looking at some of their backtracks and stuff, they're starting to separate themselves for their political longevity. And, it's just, President Trump, I think that you should just say, "Come on home," and bring them home.
Well, I think what Trump's going to do is he's going to get some sort of agreement on the uranium, and then he's coming home. And I think Iran's just trying to, or Israel's just trying to stretch that out. I don't think Iran wants to give that up, but we all know they're not going to follow through on it, long term. So,
Yeah, it's, and what really gets me is, and I've also said this before too, I think that this whole thing is a proxy war by China. I think China has something to do with, because if if Iran didn't have big brothers, China and Russia behind them, I think this thing would have been off a long time ago.
Oh, see, Wayne, you need to join Mark. He's listening to, not reading, Mongol Moon.
Oh.
And he just put in the chat he's on book 2, which I read the first 2 books, and then I got sidetracked to other books. Now I'm back in the series. There's a couple books that are of short stories, but it's funny. This Mark Sibley wrote it like starting in the mid 20 teens, and it shows some behind the scenes of his speculation of the coordination between all the bad players: North Korea, Russia, China, Iran, that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, what we're seeing with this war isn't necessarily what's happening. I think the China will take any opportunity to damage us economically because they know they don't want to attack us directly. So I think China is pumping stuff into, and Russia probably pumping stuff into Iran, and say, well, it's the same strategy we used with the Cold War. We just bankrupted the USSR,
I remember that.
and so that technique could be used against us. I think whoever presented the intelligence about the enriched uranium is, whatever your opinion is on that, but I don't know. We either need to escalate or come home. I mean, there's no more good going to be gained from us continuing to hang out over there. And I think Trump's reaching that point. And I think his public statements with Netanyahu are like, listen, we're in charge, like, stop this, let's get things done. And Netanyahu told them to go jump in the lake. So I think he's going to. I think Trump's going to declare victory and come home and say, we like, this is now Israel's war. Have a nice day. And like I say, I'm not. I am a big isolationist. I don't think we get involved in any wars unless we're going to end it quickly and violently. I think Bubba put in the chat earlier, should never go in unless we're going to end the Islamic regime. I think anytime we put American boots on the ground or get involved in hostilities, the plan should be like we did in Iraq, where we just roll over them and just wipe them out. I think, but I think that with like punishment of crimes in America, like you can't be nice to criminals, otherwise they keep being you can't be nice to these terroristic states. You either go wipe them out and deal with what that looks like, or you just stay out of it. There is no in between.
I've seen online a few times how the how people have used that quote. United States has always said that they don't. United States does not negotiate with terrorists, basically. And it's like, if they are the number one terror, there's a reason why you don't negotiate with terrorists, and probably y'all are seeing it right now. You can't lock them down on anything unless you do some serious damage. And now, according to reports, the damage is serious, but based on them still holding out, is it that serious? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sooner or later, it's like you can keep doing this and doing this and doing this. It's almost like a football game. It's almost like a football game, basketball game, or whatnot. You are the number one team. You're the number one team in the nation, United States. You're the number one team in the nation. You're playing some Rudy Poo candy butt team from Bisbane, West Virginia, and you know that you're way better than that other team. You know it. You got the team. You got the shooters. You got the guard. You got everything. Even the ball boy. Everything is better than the Brisbane, West Virginia team. But you just can't shake them off. You just can't shake them off. And over a period of time during the game, that Brisbane, West Virginia team is going to be like, wait a minute. They aren't pulling away from us like they're supposed to. Maybe we have some momentum. Maybe we have some type of, and then they start building confidence. You know, that's where all those videos, those stupid memes and stuff, those music memes and stuff were coming on. They come like when President Trump says, "Oh, we're almost at an agreement now. We're close to it," and then now they're coming out. They're waiting for him to do that, so they didn't come out. No, we didn't say that. For the stocks, they're doing it for. At least that's what I believe. They're doing it for the stocks. They're right. Oh, so the stocks are going up. No, we didn't say anything like that. It's a lie. Stocks go back down. It's like they're starting to play a game over there. Probably because they feel like that they have some confidence now. And it's like, you said, Bubba, dude, if you're going to take him out, take him out. If you ain't, come on home.
Yep. I think that's a good pin in this one. Let's go on to the next topic. I'm sick of Israel and Iran. I don't know about you. Let us know in the chat. Do you want to hear any more about Israel and Iran, or should we just drop it until something really happens? Because, you talk about it, it's like it's just the same nonsense. And it's like we just, Trump,
for me and us, we talk about the stuff that's happening immediately right now. And this whole thing, the 100-day thing was yesterday. Gave you a complete summary of everything that has happened, or at least try to give you a complete.
It was a great recap
of what happened.
I'm not saying that. I don't know about you, but aren't you just like, when I go on and look, and it's like, okay, Trump said this, Netanyahu did the opposite. I'm just
but what Netanyahu did this weekend, that defiant. Where have you seen him do that before?
Yeah.
You seen him do that to Trump before?
I've never seen Trump come out and give such explicit directions. But they've had that conversation.
They might have had that conversation, but has he? I mean, he went toward Tehran. He went toward the big city. After Trump said, "Don't do nothing," he went toward the big city.
Yeah, so, he's insolent,
Yeah.
I mean, he. I did one of my rare tweets about it when I saw what Netanyahu was doing, because I try to stay away from the Israel-Iranian war. Like at first, I was giving updates on it, and then I'm like, but it was like when Netanyahu did exactly the opposite of what Trump said. I'm like, oh, this is gonna get interesting.
I thought about that. I thought about it yesterday. I was like, oh, okay, come on home. Just as soon as that happened, I was like, well, it's time to come home.
Yep.
Just bottom line. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like the wife and I had a family member that was going through some financial stuff, and we were sitting down and we were trying to help them out. We were giving them some money. We were helping them with stuff, and they're just like, we're like, well, we probably need to look at this. And they kind of told us to go jump in a lake. They're like, unless you're going to give us money, it's like we don't want your advice. They didn't come out and say that, but that was the indication.
Implied.
And so we're like, we will go jump in the lake. Thank you. Good day. And you know, we saw what they did, and we see where it's going. And in a few months, when the shit hits a fan for them, like we're out. Like we told you what you're doing and what the outcome would be, and there is no more need for us to be involved in this. If
and it's hard for people, family members or friends that are real close, to walk away
right
when they've been rebuffed. You know what I'm saying? It's hard because you don't want to see your family member or your close friend hurt, but what can you do?
Well, and that's where I think we are with Israel, where every 4 years, every 8 years, we get a new president. They work with Israel. Israel's been a great ally. I think everybody watching, thinks the world is a better place with Israel existing in the Middle East. But the question comes, how much of our blood and treasure are we going to put into this initiative? How much control do we have over what they do? Like the family member I was talking about, we were giving them money and helping them out and trying to do things. And then we reached a point where it's like, we can't fund your idiocy. At some point, you need to own your own idiocy, not me. And it's actually the more humane thing to do, because at some point, they can't continue to go down an idiotic path. And if a fat person and you're buying them donuts, you are not helping them, you are enabling them. And with the Middle East, if we want to get in and go flatten Iran, I'm all for it. If we're going, but let's kind of mess around. No, we've done that. Now it's time to come home.
It's time to come home. Yeah. Yep. According to the Associated Press, as reported by KTLA out in California, incumbent Mayor Karen Bass has advanced to the November 3rd runoff after the June 2nd primary. She led but did not clear the 50% needed to win outright. Now, also, and within the last 12 hours, with 83% counted in, or votes counted, so they say. It seems like the Nithya Raman has surpassed Spencer Pratt now. She's at 27.1, where Spencer Pratt is 26.7. According to the same ABC 7 count, only about 3,000 votes separate Raman and Pratt for second place. So the runoff opponent is not yet decided.
It's decided.
Yeah, somebody said last night that it had been called, but let's see. Let's see. Bass won in 2022 with 54.8% over Rick Caruso. And Xavier Barrera is moving on toward the governor's general election with Steve Hilton. I don't think Tom Steyer, which is the third person, I don't think Steyer is going to catch Hilton, but some people have been saying that he's going to catch Hilton. I don't think so. I think it'll be Barrera and Hilton. in November. But a lot of MAGA people, I don't know whether they're new to the game, because it is a game. I don't know whether they're new to the game. I don't know whether they just don't care or whether they're just triggered because of Spencer Pratt. But California's been doing this for years. It's not new. It's not new. California is just one of those. I mean, if you look at some of the posts that are from Californians, they've been having this done to them for years.
It's kind of like Chicago elections.
Chicago,
just so you know, there's shenanigans.
Yeah, Chicago and New York. I mean, it's and California. Now, listen, I understand California's large, big state, third or fourth economy in the world. I understand that it's a lot of votes. But come on, y'all, it's a primary. It's not the general. It can't be a whole lot of votes. But all these mail-in ballots and stuff, it's just too much. It's too much area for, lack of a better word, cheating. It's just too much area for it. And again, they've been doing it for so long. I mean, honestly, I really didn't think Pratt had a chance in the first place because it was California. I really didn't think it because that's just how they do out there. They need a major overhaul of Republicans in that state to even fix the state. You can't be a Republican, one Republican, and win the whole Democratic state of California. You need some help.
Well, here's the thing, and like Wayne said, there's certain cities or states that are just notorious for odd results in elections. Go back and look at Barack Obama's Senate election if you want to see odd results. And somebody helped me.
The primary, he got everybody kicked off. Everybody kicked off.
Right. Yeah. There's shenanigans. And, let me know in the chat. What's that famous quote? Like, communism, you can vote your way into it, but can't vote your way out of it. Like, welcome to California. And I like Pratt as a candidate. I like the fact he was running on simple things. I want to make the city where you can walk down the streets without stepping over human feces, drug needles, and homeless people. Like, that was his campaign. And I think that is a resonating message for people in Los Angeles, given the condition. I mean, like they have poop tracker apps that you can download in California. So it's there. What I find most interesting, as you take a step back and let's say we all think, okay, there were shenanigans in the election. They don't care. And that is the most astounding thing, is they are cheating in the most obvious way possible, and they don't care. And when I say cheating, and NewsGuard will fact check us, so this is my opinion. If you look at the rate of votes for Bass, it's been pretty steady. And if you look at the votes for Pratt, like, his vote rate's gone down with mail-ins, which is fairly expected. But if you look at the votes for the third place gal, the foreign communist, like, her votes are going up. So to me, what jumps out as the statistical anomaly is you would think both Democrats would be going up because Democrats are more likely to use mail-in ballots. And your government, and it's funny, I was arguing with a Minnesota radio host on Twitter today when he's like, oh, Trump says there's proof of, he offers without proof that there was election fraud. It's like everybody misses the point that the government needs to prove to the citizens that the elections were valid. Not like we just assume the elections were fair unless somebody can show proof of it not be. we see lax rules in setting up elections, registering, lax rules and execution, doing things. They won't turn over, the states won't turn over voting data or voting rolls. I mean, Georgia's still fighting to get, they're still dealing with the 2020 election. Like, they won't say, hey, yeah, audit me. If these states had legit results, they would say, here's our audit, here's our results. They would at least try to give some sort of explanation for these statistical anomalies that make zero sense, but they don't even try. And they've shifted the narrative, well, where if the right can't prove it was stolen, it must have been not stolen. Or if the right can't prove that something, well, how are you even going to prove that when you can't get access to the data, the information? You can say, hey, look at this. This is really weird. And that's it. I mean, if you look at a box score on a basketball game and you see the Knicks scored 200 points tonight, you just look at that and go, well, that's weird. Wow, how did the Knicks score 200 points? If you look at the LA mayor race and go, okay, the one Democrat kind of stayed the same. The other Democrat had this huge jump. That's weird. Somebody explain this to me because it looks like shenanigans. And they don't even try. They don't even try to explain how these. I mean, look at the 2020 election. There were so many anomalies. And the response is always, where's your proof there's fraud? Okay, well, can we see the ballots? Well, no, just trust me, bro. And I'll be fascinated to see how long we are going to continue to exist like that. And it's just interesting because all these, you get in this cycle where it's like, well, these numbers are really weird. And instead of our government explaining how these really weird numbers happened, they just want to call you a conspiracy theorist, shut down your channel, NewsGuard will fact check you. I remember in Minnesota 3 years ago, the left was shouting how great these autism programs were, and holy cow, we expected to spend 50 million, now we spent 350 million. And the free school lunches, they're like, wow, we thought we'd spend 40 million and now we're spending like $500 million on this is great. Anybody with a functioning brain cell looks at that and goes, well, clearly something weird's happening. Maybe we should look to see what's happening weird. And they didn't care until Nick Shirley showed up. Now they care, and now they're going to do something about it. But it's the government has a responsibility to prove to you things are on the up and up, not you have the responsibility to prove it, that it's not. And I mean, I think that gets lost in the shuffle, especially when you have half of Americans that think the elections were scams. Like, just for peace and civility in the union, they should want to explain that. Now, I will offer the best explanation of what happened if it was legit. And I'm doing legit in quotes, meaning following the rules. The number of votes that the third place finisher got from areas with high homeless and destitute people, if you look at the deeper dive data, a disproportionate number of the votes for her are coming out of those areas. So it appears that there was a ballot harvesting operation with the homeless population, or whatever term we want to use for them. And the ballot harvesters, once they kind of had an idea what they needed to get for votes, then they start dropping them in the mail and doing it. Now, that just looks like what the data is. Otherwise, why did they have a disproportionate number of people from these areas that are voting? And the information's still coming out, but that's the best legitimate explanation I've seen for it.
When when all this talk of cheating. Well, actually, no. This started with Kennedy and it didn't start, but Kennedy and Nixon. But in my lifetime, it would have had to been in the 2000 election with between Bush and Gore, the one that went to the Supreme Court.
Hanging chads.
Where Jeb Bush was like, don't worry, He basically said, "Don't worry, my brother, we're Cary, Florida, type of deal." And it
It really seems to be the equivalent of like eBay sniping. If anybody's ever bought something on eBay,
I like that.
you know how you see a price on there and you're like waiting till the last minute.
I used to do that.
Yeah, and then
I
you'd
used
go
to,
in and put a bid, put a bid, put a bid,
yeah,
and to get it low. And
yeah,
like you wouldn't put your real bid in right away, but you're like, oh, I want to try to get it a little cheaper. So let me do a buck, another buck, another buck, another buck. And it's the equivalent of that, is what it seems to be, where these NGOs, these ballot harvesting organizations, they have tons of ballots, and most of them, it sounds like in California, I know in Minnesota, when you harvest a ballot, like you see who they voted for. I mean, and you can decide like how many of this do we need? Okay, how many is this? I would be curious if we ever found like there's these NGOs or whatnot that are sitting on piles of ballots. I'm like, oh, we didn't need to send in the bass ones, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll be curious how long we'll get there. And if it, and I think part of why they don't want to justify in the California case, if they want to say, well, yeah, it turns out all the homeless people voted for the third place finisher, that's going to make people ask a whole lot of different questions. Like,
Do you think, even though they might ask, do you think that's going to do anything?
I think things are going to get bleak enough until the right takes up arms in general.
Damn.
How much longer can this continue? You know?
Well, I was thinking about that. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week. It might have been Thursday. Um, a lot of the things that people are yelling about today and talking about today, they've been doing it since I remember politics. Same thing. High gas prices, food prices, um, uh, uh, voting. The only thing that I think that has changed is that the map, not the electoral map, the maps, the states have been solidly put into different parties' control. It wasn't like that in the early 80s. I mean, people sat around in front of their 13 channel TVs, and that's before HBO came out. HBO used to be nasty, by the way. But used to sit in front of their until midnight, 1 in the morning, if it was to go that long. But now it's like, I think that's really the only thing that no. And people in DC really don't talk. They don't talk.
I think you've seen a lot of differences. I mean, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you were dealing with a 90% Christian nation,
Yeah, yeah,
and now Christianity are at what, 50, 60%. You were sitting at a 90% Caucasian, 10% black, and now you're sitting at, you know, you have a much different ethnic diversity from that. I think whites are down to like 50 some percent. Blacks are still maintaining the same percentage, and the all these other third world countries are seeing their percentages go up. and
I think
and
whites are
all
around 80 something.
what's that?
I think whites are 80 something.
In America?
Yeah, I saw that. Um,
Oh, I'll take the under. Wayne's going to check it out. But anyways, my point is, we're bringing in people that want to fundamentally transform this country, and they're doing it. I mean, you look at these big cities, Zoran Mandami won because of the new voters, not because he can, and the leftists, that supported him. But, had you not had that entirely new voting bloc that has mainly come in the last 40, 50 years, you wouldn't have seen that. So what's the stat? What's the AI say?
White alone, 59.8%. which
Yep.
is roughly 203 million. White alone in combination includes multiracial people who are part white is 72.1%. So I guess they opened up and start crossing the line.
Well, and here's what's interesting too is that line crossing isn't necessarily like universal. You know, if you go into like a Somali neighborhood, there's no white people living in there. You know, you go into some of these really heavy Hispanic neighborhoods or the Muslim neighborhoods, like you don't see the white family in town, and you don't see the Muslims like, you know, it'd be great in this. Let's bring a Christian in here. I mean,
I just
and
think most of the multiracial is in the California, Arizona, Florida, Texas. You know, there's, yeah, I wouldn't say out Northwest. No, I would say that California, Oregon, and Washington, and a lot of the major cities, you might see that. Which, believe me, I ain't got nothing. I, you love who you love.
well, here's the thing though. We've made it that people could come here without becoming an American, other than on paper. They came here and they don't have to learn the language. They don't have to understand the great parts of the country. And it's not a racial thing. It's like they just don't believe in the same things we do. And they want to change us to their country they left, you know. And I think that's where things get really difficult to say. I use South Africa as an example. It's the Dutch settled pretty much vacant land. They set up their form of government, and then people came there and like, well, no, this doesn't work. So they moved. They set up Rhodesia, and then the same thing happened. Now they're setting up Orania, and the Dutch are like, we don't even want English in here. We just want original Dutch Afrikaners in the town. And people are like, no, 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 you have to let us in. And it's like, you know, where I like why can't they have a white Christian country, you know? Like we're not going to say like, oh, you have to let whites into Muslim countries, like, oh gosh, yeah, you know, you gotta give them special treatment. So if Christianity doesn't stand up, it's things are going to get interesting.
Says here the multiracial population is the fastest growing group by rate.
Yeah,
but the bigger forces versus, yeah. I mean, could have went down that road too. As a matter of fact, some of my family thought it was going to happen.
You were going to have a white girl?
Really?
Well, you were saying my family thought I was going down that path. I'm like, Wayne Dupree's got a white girl.
I've dated all types.
Breaking news on the Wayne Dupree podcast.
Oh,
you never talk about your ex-wives, Wayne.
Well, they weren't white.
Oh, okay. You got sisters.
As a matter of fact, my aunt told me because she's passed now, but yeah, when I was going to the military, she pulled me aside. She was like, "Don't bring no white girl in here." I looked at her like, but that was the time. Those were the times back then. Even though I was like, I can't. I don't live in that type of deal. You date who you want to date, and you marry who you want to marry, and that's how it is. But
see, that brings up an interesting cultural point because we're talking like 80s, 90s, 2000s for you. 80s. Like it was okay for a black grandma or whomever to say, don't bring no white girl home. But the white person that said, don't bring a black girl home is demonized across history. And it's
okay.
like,
it wasn't okay.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, if you, not our personal opinion, I'm just saying culturally, Like, we're not going to call out your grandma that said, don't bring a white girl home. But the old grandpa that said, don't bring a black girl home, like that guy's the villain in history. And it's kind of fascinating to see that play out where it's like, wait a second.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. I mean, I knew what she was talking about because of stuff that we had learned, but the 60s was gone for me. The 40s, 50s, and 60s was gone. I mean, I wasn't even here. That ain't nothing to do with me, you know.
Well, what could she learn to make it okay to say, don't bring a white girl home?
Say what?
What could she
Oh.
learn to make that an appropriate thing to say?
Some what's his name? The young kid that was killed for allegedly whistling at a white girl.
What does that have to do with the white girl you'd bring home?
Because when it found out that they really didn't whistle, but they strung him up and killed him for it, you know. There's a whole lot of the black kid in Mississippi hanging around the white kids that they were killed and stuff. It's just their mindset of what they had been through. That's why I've said I think racism itself, which I really don't talk about here on the show, but I think racism itself will be gone when a whole lot of the older people are gone. What's her name? Maxine Waters and a whole lot of those people that are there, they have gone through the 60s and they have had their head beat in and the counters, and they went through that stuff. And I honestly, to me, I don't really think that they should be in Congress because of the PTSD that they had. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have it. For those that are out there that are going to, I can't believe it. No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have it. I'm saying that some of them are passing that hate on to younger generation. Some of the younger generation, as I was reading just a while ago with the mixing of the multiracial things like that, more younger people are mixing. Older people aren't. The young people don't feel that way anymore. And that's what I'm saying. A whole lot of the older people, when they die off, when they leave, when they roll out, I think that the topic of racism, the role of racism in this country will be down to a minute, small bit than what it is because of these leaders that have this thing in their head that they just can't get rid of. And with my aunt living here in Baltimore around that time, that what they had been through, and me as a young person looking at her like, what? I mean, it didn't compute to me. You know what I'm saying? It didn't compute, and I didn't carry that when I heard that. Now it hurt, but it's the times. It's the times.
Well, I think that's why I get so frustrated with the current racist stuff. Like you see in that case down in Texas, and it's like we tried to fix racism in America by making racism against white people okay. I sat in corporate meetings where we're like, we need to bring in more diversity, and like that was just part of what the job was. And it was never like, let's get the best people. That's why I'm so optimistic with some of the moves Trump's doing, outlawing DEI and doing away with some of these things. Like people should just succeed or fail based on their own personal merit. And we can't continue with this overcorrection, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave it right there. And
we got Wayne to talk a little bit about race. I love it. Wait till tomorrow, folks.
Jason.
We're going to talk Tulsa race riots.
We really don't want to go to that one. we really don't want to go to that one because. Oh man, we really don't.
We'll wait till tomorrow.
We don't want to talk about Tulsa. We don't want to talk about Rosewood. We don't want to talk about a lot of these black communities, towns that were flooded and removed so that they could put highways and stuff. We really don't want to talk about this stuff. I don't want to get into all that, but it's in the books. It's in the books. Go research it. Jason, man. God damn it.
I start the show poking the bear. I end the show.
Yeah, you did. Because I had it ready, and then you brought it up, and then it lit the match. It lit the match, Jason. It lit the freaking match. Okay.
All right, let's find something fun to talk about tomorrow. I don't want to talk about Israel unless somebody drops a nuke.
Jason, give me some last thoughts.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We love and appreciate you guys. Love to see the chat. Still in the Rumble studio. Going better than Todd and I. We switched back to StreamYard. We're like, I can't do Rumble anymore. But anyways.
You went back to StreamYard?
Yeah, we went back to StreamYard. We tried for a few weeks, and I'm like, it's just so much less convenient. It's like going from an Apple phone back to an Android. Like, I could never do it. It's just not the easiest to do. Second thought, I hope everybody had a great weekend. Like, weather was nice around here. We got to have some family time. It was pretty cool. So hopefully you guys did as well. And then third thought, Mark put it in the chat. We need to get Wayne to get a dog and listen to Mongol Moon on his walks. Super proud of Wayne. He keeps doing farther and better walks. You wait till you get that little dog, Wayne. It'll help you with the ladies, and it'll help keep you motivated to go for your walks. So tomorrow we'll talk about what kind of dog Wayne should get. Let us know in the chat tomorrow.
Yesterday I hit my personal high in walking. I meant to send that to you and Jen. I hit my personal high in walking, which was 8,500 steps.
Yes. Walking machine.
8,500 steps. So,
wow.
And I'm on a 166-day streak of walking. So after I do this, I'm going to do my walk. And, but yeah, it's, and I also barbecued yesterday.
Oh, look at that.
I sent you the pictures on your phone just a while ago. Finally. Nice. Yep. Jen, thank you. Okay. Okay. So with that said, we will be back here tomorrow. Jason, looking at it now.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Wayne did some barbecuing.
Yeah. I took Saturday.
And are those baked beans?
Those are baked beans.
Wow.
That's baked beans. Those are.
Put that on your Instagram.
Those are Caribbean jerk baked beans right there.
Wow.
And I smoked them.
Wow.
And I'm getting ready to go eat some right now. Okay.
Let's go do it. See you guys tomorrow.